Lynette Rogers. She is the owner of Virtually Yours, founder of Saving Our Youth, the author of one of the bestseller books called Mission Untouchable with Les Brown and George Fraser. She is a speaker to young people, and not just young people, to women and men. Lynette, welcome to the call.
Good morning, Michelle. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Wonderful. Well, good morning, Michelle. Good morning to all the Momentum Monday movers and shakers. My name is Lynette, and I am the co-host of the call that is designed to wake you up, shake you up, and take you up to new levels in your life, your career, your business, and your dreams. And momentum, what is it? It propels you forward in life. Without it, success is difficult. Who is this Monday broadcast for? Everybody. If you're a stay-at-home parent, a 9-to-5er, a career professional, entrepreneur, traditional or in direct sales business, if you're a student, if you're in between jobs or a blessing, a man or a woman, this broadcast was designed with you in mind. And now I'd like to introduce a few of my amazing co-hosts. First up is Bishop Dickie Robbins. He is the pastor of Life in Christ Cathedral of Faith. He is the visionary of Dickie L. Robbins Ministries, chiming in from Chester, Pennsylvania. Good morning, Bishop.
Good morning, Lynette. How are you? We are ready to rock and roll this morning.
All right, good morning. Yes, we are going to rock and roll this beautiful Monday morning. And next up, I want to introduce Miss Danita Washington. She is the founder of Fort Wayne Girls Rock and Girls Rock Summer Camp from Fort Wayne, Indiana. Good morning, Danita.
Good morning, Lynette. Good morning, everybody. Let's be women and men that rock this morning.
Awesome, awesome. Good morning, Danita. And next up, you heard her welcoming each and every one of you to the call this morning, pumped up as usual. She is chiming in from Newark, Delaware, the founder of Michelle Marie Fashion Agency, visionary of Women of More campaign. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Lynette. Woo!
All right. And last but certainly not least, our amazing visionary of the call. She's a phenomenal woman, a role model, a mentor, Vice President of HR in Corporate America, the fabulous and amazing Miss Jill Jordan Green. Are you out there, Jill?
Good morning. Let's go. I'm ready.
All right. Well, we will be right here every Monday morning to make sure that your Mondays will never be the same. Please take a second right now to join our Momentum Monday discussion group and make your comments or ask questions, like a quote or something you hear, hashtag Momentum Mondays, and also hashtag I'm on the call. So over the last few weeks, guys, we have been discussing The Slight Edge. We talked about The Slight Edge, which is written by Jeff Olson. We discussed the chapter last week was Chapter 3, is Time on Your Side, and Chapter 4, You Have to Start with a Penny. And in Chapter 3 last week, we talked about how we must position ourselves every single day so that time is working on our side. And we also talked about the power of a penny. And when you understand that the little choices we make every single day matters, this book is transformational. This book has literally transformed my life. I'm so excited that we're talking about it. And this week, we're going to be talking about the Slight Edge 7 principles. What we're going to do is break down the principles. Each one of the co-hosts is going to go over the principles in the book. First up is Jill. Jill, can you go discuss the first principle? Yeah, the first principle that is in the chapter.
Absolutely, Lynette. This book has absolutely changed my life, The Slight Edge. The first principle is called Show Up. This book has taught me that if you want to go up, you have to show up. Lynette, we have 73 days left until the clock strikes 12 for a brand new year. And if you're going to hit that goal, you got to show up. I'm gonna tell a really quick story. So there was a group of 30 people in that who decided to climb a mountain. They had planned for it for weeks. They were definitely going to make it up to the top of the mountain because that represented them going after their goals and their dreams. And they understood that they had to show up, suit up, and self up. So then all of a sudden they realized the forecast began to predict rain, Lynette. Then it began to sprinkle. Do you know 15 of those people said they had to reschedule for the next time? 5 of them said they would be late. So 10 started up the hill toward their goals without them. After about 15 minutes, 5 had to stop and go back because they had on the wrong shoes and that their feet began to hurt. It got to be cold. They didn't have the right coats on. They didn't have the proper things. So there were 5 people left who showed up and they had suited up. Now, suited up means you are trained and skilled. You practice to run your race. But guess what, Lynette? It got colder. It got harder. They started seeing snakes and animals. The clouds began to get extremely dark because more and more storms were coming. So Forrest said, guys, I don't think this is a good idea, and went back. There was one person left out of the 30 that understood that, A, if you want to get it, you got to show up. B, if you want to get it, you got to suit up, which means you have to understand your craft and get the skills and tools you need. And C, you have to self up. You have to reach down in your gut and give it every single thing you have to get to the top. Why am I telling this story today? Because I was a part of a group who decided to meet in a mountain and go up the hill, and people quit. People stopped because they were not ready. Folks, 73 days left. The slightest principle says if you want to win, if you want to lose weight, if you want to earn more money, if you want a new job, start a business, you have to change your life, but it first starts with showing up. Lynette, back to you.
Oh, my goodness, Jill, that is absolutely amazing. Show up, suit up, and self up. Wow, how many of us have started a journey and we start off with a group and you look back and everybody is full of excuses? A lot of times we let another person's excuse knock us completely out of the game. So you're right. Principle number 1 is show up. And the fact that everybody is showing up on the call this morning, I just want to say kudos to everybody chiming in. I am flat out excited. Thank you, Jill. And next up, how about Danita? What's your principle?
Well, mine is just having a good attitude. And, you know, not only do you need to show up, Jill gave a great point on showing up and be consistent, but it's how you show up with an attitude. You know, Iyanla Vanzant had an amazing story about her walk in her process and where she is now. And she talked about, you guys, how she almost ruined her destiny and her moment because of a bad attitude. She talked about Barbara Walters and how Barbara had introduced a program to her, but Oprah had told her to wait, hold on just a little bit. The Oprah show has something for you. And her attitude was, no, you're not going to hold me back. I'm going with what I want to do. And she said that throughout her journey a couple times that her attitude had gotten in the way. And if you all remember, she almost missed it. Her and Oprah didn't talk for a few years. She went through a divorce. Her daughter passed away. But she said throughout all of that, she had to go back and really look at what was her attitude about life. She almost dismantled her destiny because of a poor attitude. And I have just learned, hashtag this, attitude determines your latitude. I believe that. So many times, everybody, you could be going for a job. You all have the same great qualifications. You dress well. But the one thing that may take you to the edge and push you, propel you to everybody is the positive attitude that you bring. So I always tell students, when you show up in the circle at the bus stop, what do people feel when you arrive? Do they feel a level of goodness, or does their stomach start quivering because you've arrived on the scene? Some of us need to ask ourselves that. Are we spirit killers, or do we grow spirits when people come into our circle? So your attitude can determine your latitude, and there is power in having a positive attitude. So the Iyanla Vanzant story really stuck with me. And, you know, another one was when my pastor got on a plane in Brazil and somebody was in his first-class seat. And he said initially he kind of caught an attitude, but he said that after the man was older, they changed his seat. The man asked if he could sit by his dad, and they swapped him out. He said, but when they swapped him out, he sat back there and watched him. Two things happened. First of all, he watched how God moved and really dealt with him on the issues of his dad. But the second thing was he ended up getting free flight due to his positive attitude and not, tripping out and being blessed by it. And so a lot of times, sometimes with our attitude, if we would just sit back and watch God do what he does, we can receive our blessings. So hashtag attitude determines your latitude.
Wow, attitude determines your latitude. That is so true, Danita. Every single day we all will experience some sort of challenge. A trial may present itself, during the course of our journey, and you really have to have a good attitude. There's always a lesson in the things that we experience. And if you focus on what am I supposed to learn? What is the lesson in this? Like you said, sit back and watch God work. Things do happen for a reason. And our attitude really determines our latitude. Like you said, if you have a good attitude, there's opportunities that may present itself. This guy, like you said, your pastor, got free tickets and all kind of things because he had a great attitude about a situation that could have went a totally different direction. So thank you so much, Danita, for sharing that. Have a good attitude. And Jill shared the principle, show up. Next up is Michelle. Be committed for a long time. Michelle, share a little bit about this principle.
It's kind of funny that I'm talking about this. One of the things that I've been putting off pretty much all summer was going through my closet and getting rid of, and I know a lot of us can relate to this, of getting rid of some of the clothes that no longer fits us or we need to give away and just organize. And I think it was last Sunday, actually, I finally did it. I left church, and normally after church I'm ready for a Sunday nap. But I said, what, I need to get committed and get this done. Now, and the simple thing is the test of all of that was to be consistent because, sometimes when you're so busy, you come home and your shoes fall where they are, your jacket, whatever, just sits on the sofa or sits on your bed or whatever the situation is. But my long-term goal was just to be consistent with when I take the clothes off to hang them up because sometimes we could be orderly in our everyday life but not orderly within our home. So the long-term goal is to just make sure I'm consistent there. And the other thing was, when I look at my mentors or the people that I respect, I always look at their finish, and I aim for their finish, or I aim for my finish and disregard the process. Well, I had to learn that the process was the thing that made me that thing at the finish line. In my process, I was able to grow. I was able to mature. And the most important thing was I appreciated the finish. So my thing to the team today is take your time. Enjoy the ride that you're on, the journey that you're on, the thing that you're looking to get. You have to get it in the process, that steady growth, that steady progression to that finish line. Because in the end, we want that desired outcome. We want to have that land of milk and honey, but it takes the process. No pressure on yourself, just steady, keeping one foot in front of the other, and you'll get that desired outcome.
Amazing, amazing. Be committed for a long time. And you know what, Michelle, that really is the slight edge principle, just restated, because it may take a while, but the process is where the growth is, and we've been talking about that. Like that commitment during that long time, that's the cultivating. What we talked about last week, the planting, the cultivating, and then you get the harvest. That's the commitment comes during that long stretch, and we want to make sure that we don't give up. We want to make sure we don't listen to the naysayers, right, or anybody that's fallen off by the wayside. Your commitment Your commitment is what is going to take you to the next level. Folks, if you are just joining us, we are talking about the Slight Edge principles. I am flat out excited about this discussion. We've heard from Jill, who talked about showing up and being consistent. Danita shared a little bit about how the importance of having a good attitude during the process. And Michelle just talked about being committed for a long time. Oh, my goodness, I am just excited. The next point we're going to talk about is have faith and a burning desire. Bishop, I know you're going to knock this out of the park. Share with us a little bit about this principle.
Absolutely. Faith and a burning desire. First of all, if we're going to achieve great things, we have got to believe in someone greater than ourselves. Faith is the confidence in the testimony of another. Nobody was around to see Jesus hang on the cross, but all of the gospel writers and the biblical analysts testify that Jesus died and rose from the dead. And our faith is predicated upon the confidence we have in the testimony of others. There are people who have been where we are going, and we must have confidence that there is someone who can get us to the destination that we aspire to reach. So in my case, my confidence, my faith is in God. And I believe that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If I don't believe that when I start, I'm defeated in my mind, and I will not accomplish what I set out to do. So faith is the vehicle that drives us to our destiny. But the burning desire, that is passion. Passion is the fuel that causes that vehicle to continuously function. So we can have the right vehicle, we can have faith, we can have confidence, we can have belief, but if we don't have passion about what we're pursuing, all it takes is a little bit of deterrence, a little bit of opposition, and that car will be parked, that vehicle will be parked. So we have to have faith, the vehicle that will drive us to our destination, and we must have the passion, the fire. Nobody will ever have to remind you to do something that you're passionate about. Nobody will have to constantly be your rah-rah cheerleader if you're passionate about what you are pursuing. And I can remember when I was in college. I got married early, and I was in college, and I actually needed a job to take care of this wife that I had just married. And at that time, our car was not working, and I had a job interview about 5 miles away. There was no bus that went that direction. So I started out early, and I walked from Richmond, Indiana to Newcastle, Indiana, and it was an assistant manager's job at a fast food restaurant. The long and short of it is I got to the interview. Now, first of all, walking 5 miles in dress shoes and a suit, it wasn't the most comfortable thing to do. I got there. The interview went well. But at the end, the general manager told me that I would not get the job because I was too young. And I had to walk too far to take no for an answer. And I felt that he'd already told me no, so I had nothing to lose. And my contention was, the job that I'm applying for now, my guess is you were about my age when you held that position. So if you weren't too young, how can you tell me I'm too young? Long and short of it is, I left out of that door with the job. See, sometimes no doesn't mean no. If you are passionate about your pursuit and you have faith, belief, the vehicle that will drive you to that desired end, there's nothing that can stop you.
Wow, I love that, Bishop. That is absolutely true, and what an amazing testimony. You know, you said faith is the confidence that we will reach the desired goal, especially when it doesn't look like it. You know, you said faith is a vehicle that'll get us there, and I loved how you said, you know, like passion. You have to have passion. I liken that to that's the gas that's going to propel you to the next level. Like you said, when you have passion, no one has to inspire you to get up in the morning to do those things that you want to do. And we must have passion. That is the burning desire. I am super excited about these principles because if we really understood each principle, they're intertwined with one another, and they definitely, once we apply them, will get us the success that we desire. The last two principles, and these are the two that I studied. The first one, well, actually, is principle number 6. Be willing to pay the price. You know, when I thought about this really struck home with me. You know, anything worth having is worth working for and paying a price for. And you have to pay a price. That's the price of entry to achieve the things that you want. When I think about the decision I made when I wanted to start my own business, that was a scary endeavor for me because I was so used to punching a clock and just doing something that was routine on another, you know, helping someone else push their dreams. So when I decided to step out on faith and open my own business, I mean, there was a huge price that I had to pay. I didn't have income coming in like I normally did on that 9-to-5 job. On Fridays, there was a check in my direct deposit when I had that job. But when I decided to start my own business, the price I had to pay was understanding that if I didn't do any work, if I didn't open my mouth, if I didn't get out here and hustle my tail off, there was not going to be any money being made. And the sacrifices that comes with being an entrepreneur. I know if there's tons of entrepreneurs on this call, you feel my pain. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a price to pay with any decision that we make. And depending on the type of goal that you're trying to attain, then the price might be even heftier. So I'm just saying that there's a price, and you have to be willing to pay the price, even when the going gets rough, even when you know you wake up with a bad attitude, when all of the excitement is gone, you have to continue to show up. And there is just so much that comes with that price. But on the other side is the success that we desire. It's just amazing because this particular principle just really hit home with me. And principle number 7 is you have to practice the slight edge with integrity. I think these two go hand in hand because basically this says, what do you do when no one is watching? You know, when all the cheerleaders go away, when we hang up the phone after this call, what are you going to do when no one is watching? I remember also I had a desire to lose weight. I would go to the gym. I had a gym partner and I had a trainer. I was so excited, and I was going to the gym. You know how it is, especially during the first of the year. Everybody is all pumped up. But then my partner, she had an injury, and she was like, well, Lynette, I can't meet you at the gym. And I'm like, okay. I went the next day, but what about the next week when I was in there alone and I had to get up and I wasn't pumped up to go? It was no fun. It was just blah. But I know I had a goal that I wanted to achieve, which was to lose the weight. And I had to show up at that gym by myself, and I had to just stay consistent. What do you do when no one is watching? What do you do? That conversation, there's things that come up in our head, right? The conversations that we have that'll talk us out of achieving our goals. This is what we have to remind ourselves, the slight edge integrity. Make sure that you are honoring your word to yourself. I'm telling you guys, we are flat out at the end of the call. But before we wrap up, I want to throw it back out to the co-host to see if you all have any final thoughts, any words that you want to share on any of the principles that either you shared or either some of the principles that some of the other co-hosts shared. Jill?
Absolutely. You know, I'm really excited about this call because, you know, actually Bishop's story kind of wrapped up all the principles. Folks, today we talked about showing up, having the proper attitude, staying committed, faithing up, and being willing to pay the price. But I want to say this, Lynette. When it comes to showing up, most people think it means just arriving. No, that's the beginning. Showing up doesn't mean arriving. There is action that needs to be associated with showing up. I'm going to stop right there because that's a call all by itself. But, folks, I want to encourage you to show up on your own behalf so when the clock strikes midnight 2016, going into a new year, you can be very proud of what you accomplished in 2015. Back to you, Lynette.
Awesome. That's right. Showing up is just part of the battle, but that is where most people drop the ball. A lot of times, how many people do we know that we invite to the call, and you know that there's nuggets on here that will help them achieve certain things in their lives, right? Showing up. I love that. Danita, Michelle, or Bishop, do you have any final words?
I did, Lynette. The one thing that in my section it talked about, too, is that how a positive attitude gives longevity to life. And everything that we're doing right now, we got to be able to live to carry it out. So I saw that as an important principle that, just having a positive attitude really, really, really can give you longevity to life. And one of my students was just sharing on Friday that his mom works hospice. And she was saying how at what she does, she notices when she can tell when a patient has lived a good life. They don't struggle at death. They're not charring at the sheet. They go in peace. But some people, she can tell when the atmosphere has been that their life has been a struggle and their attitude was horrible because she said they're struggling, they fighting death. And so, part of it in our living, we want to make sure that we have longevity so that, with our attitude that it's positive, and that's what we're putting out into the atmosphere.
I love it. I love it.
Danita and
Bishop?
Yeah, I have
Go ahead, Bishop.
Go ahead, Michelle.
One of the taglines that I always say is stay committed. And the reason why I say stay committed is because in my own life, many times I wanted to give up. Many times I wanted things to happen like yesterday. And what I was doing was pushing myself in a place I wasn't prepared for. And I learned that in the process, I am gaining that momentum, of course, but I'm also growing. And once I achieved that goal, I could look back and say, I wasn't ready. I may have said that I was ready or wanted that particular thing, but I wasn't ready because I had some more growing to do to get to that particular destination. So I tell everyone on the call, stay committed. Don't get frustrated in the process. Your harvest is going to come as long as you show up, meaning be prepared, have the right attitude, and start watering what you're aiming for. One of the things, Bishop, I don't even know if you remember this. I've been knowing Bishop for maybe over 18, 19 years, and he came to one of our leadership workshops a long time ago, and he was giving us a nugget of how he grew to the point of always having a $100 bill in his wallet. And the reason why he put it in his wallet so that if anything occurred or anything happened, he was prepared. He showed up ready to do whatever was necessary. And at that time, I wasn't able. I thought that was just awesome. And at that time, I was aiming for that. I said, one day, I want to be able to have at least $100 cash in my pocket, not a credit card, but just the cash in my pocket, that if anything, if I needed to be a blessing, if I needed to sow, whatever the situation was, I was going to be ready. And over the years, I was able to do that, but it took time. It took me aiming for what Bishop was saying, what he was doing in his life that I wanted to do, and I had to apply the steps in my life. So stay committed, be strong. Stay consistent and speak over your seed.
Well, Michelle, that principle, I started with $1. I was teaching our congregation how to never be broke again. There's a difference between being broke and being poor. You can change being broke in a moment, but it takes sometimes years to change a person's mindset so they're not poor. So folding up $1 bill, putting it in your wallet or purse, and forgetting about it and saying that will never be spent except in an extreme emergency. And so you'll always have that dollar. I graduated from $1 to $100, so it wasn't an instant kind of a thing. And the whole idea is that you can go from dollar success to $100 success, but it takes you a discipline over a period of time to get there. But what I really wanted to say on showing up is not just a physical reality. A lot of people think that showing up means I come to whatever that event is or that opportunity is. But showing up really means showing up in your triune self. That is your body, your soul, and your spirit, your body, your mind, your spirit. Some people show up to opportunities, but they don't believe they're going to get it. Or they show up at the opportunity, and their attitude is so bad that nobody's going to give them the opportunity. Or they show up at the opportunity, and they just have no confidence that what the opportunity presents to them, they can actually achieve. We have to show up in all of who we are. We have to show up physically, and our appearance must be appropriate for the opportunity. Show up mentally. That means that we have the right attitude for that opportunity so that we are attracted to the person who's giving the opportunity. And we must show up spiritually with the faith and confidence that I deserve this opportunity and I can take full advantage of it. If we show up in our triune self, the opportunity is more likely going to be extended to us.
My goodness, wow, I love it, guys. These 7 principles, boy, they're a call all in of itself. My goodness, but they are so on point and just amazing. We are right at the 8 o'clock hour, and before I open up the call, I just wanted to leave with these last little thoughts on the being willing to pay the price, and just understand that success has a price. You know, whatever we want in life, we have to give something up to get it. The greater the value, the greater the sacrifice that's required of you. There's a price to pay if you want to make things better, and a price to pay for leaving things as they are. And guess what? Even if you don't make a decision about an issue, there is still a price to pay. We are flat out of time. I am so excited that you guys joined us on the call. Go ahead and go to our Facebook group page and post your comments and things on, and I'm going to open up the call. How about the callers say, I'm showing up?
I'm showing up.
I'm showing up.
I'm showing up. I'm showing up.
I'm showing up.
I'm showing up and showing out.
I'm showing up.
I'm showing up. I'm showing up.
Show up and show out.
All right, let's do this.
Are you willing to pay the price?
Woo! Absolutely.
Showing up.